Okay? All right. Verse 7. Revelation chapter 3, starting in 7. Yep.
7. You want me to read the whole thing? Verse 7.
Revelation chapter 3, starting in verse 7 and going through 13.
Okay.
Yes, please read it.
And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things he says who is holy, he who is true, he who has the key of David, he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens. I know your works, see, I have set before you an open door and no one can shut it. For you have a little strength, have kept my word, and have not denied my name. Indeed, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan, who say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Indeed, I will make them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Because you have kept my command to preserve. I will also keep you from the hour of trial which shall come upon the whole world, to test those who dwell on the earth. Behold, I am coming quickly. Hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown. He who overcomes, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go out no more. I will write on him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God. And I will write on him my new name. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches.
All right. So the church in Philadelphia. Not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's just clear that up right from the start. Okay? But, you know, Philadelphia means city of brotherly love. Even here it means that. Okay? This city was founded by the king of Pergamus at one time in, I think, 190 BC. So it had been around for a while. The city had. This city's kind of more on the southern end of these 7 churches, and it is where 3 routes come together and become one major trade route. So it's very prosperous and very got a lot of good, you know, advantages and things like that and stuff. So, but with that comes immoral behavior and stuff like that. But this church did not fall into that. He says in verse 8, I know your works. See, I have set before you an open door that no one can shut. You have a little strength, kept my word, and have not denied my name. You have to be the biggest, best church, have an impact. This is probably the smallest church of the 7. He's saying that. He says, you have little strength. They weren't very big, they weren't very in numbers, but they were working. They were doing a lot. They were working together. They were doing what God was calling them to do, what the Spirit was leading them to do. Right? And we see here Synagogue of Satan. Didn't we see that in another church a few weeks back?
The Jezebel one. I don't know the name of the church.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I don't know which church it was without looking.
No, we did. It was one of the early churches. It was
Corrupt church?
I believe so, yes. So
Thyatira.
yeah, Thyatira or whatever. Yeah. They were battling them. They were battling the people that the Jews that were, and that's the belief of who he's referring to here as synagogue of Satan. That it would be the Jews that would not believe. We're not Jewish Christians, and we're probably persecuting Christians. We know that they were in the other city. They're probably doing it here too. But unlike the other city, they're standing strong against it here. Okay? They're staying focused on their work, on what they're called to do. Even though it might not have had huge impact on the city, they were making a difference. You know, take a little church and drop it in the middle of New York City. Probably not going to have a huge impact, but even a little impact, God can work with, as long as the people are faithful. And that's what these people are here. This church has this church is not condemned by God for anything in this letter. Only two churches that are like that. There you go. Huh? You got a chart.
Hey, you got a chart.
Yeah. Look at that.
I
So
was on the colors.
now we know who used Cliff Notes in high school. but no. So but they were not told to correct any bad immoral behavior. God was pleased with their work, even though they were small. You don't have to be a mega church.
There's a lesson there, right? For us or
Anybody, right?
Anybody.
Yeah.
We think, oh, we can't do that, or
Yeah.
Like me and you were talking earlier. I don't know why we were talking about already, but I said I don't like the mega churches with their theater seats and their stadium. It feels like they're just at a play or something, not really in church. Don't feel like you're in a sanctuary learning about God. You're like at a lecture or something.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's how it is in the mega churches.
Yeah.
They get too big for their britches, as my mama would say.
And sometimes those can get to be where they're just motivational speakers now. They're not,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
they're not bringing forth giving everybody the good feel good message.
They're not trying to bring the message of Jesus. They're trying to get some money.
They're not trying to save sinners.
No.
They may say they are, but they're not.
Not all of them.
Huh?
Not all of them, no.
Well, no, not all of them, but a lot of the really big, huge ones that we see and stuff like that. Yeah, but you're right. Not all the mega churches are bad or but they have to be careful that they don't slip into that. So, and this for us also tells us, can't we do good things by making a small difference? Just us? Right. You never know what's going to happen with, okay? You think the guy that get nailed again, but do you think that the guy that led Billy Graham to the Lord knew what Billy Graham was going to become and what he was going to do with his life for God? No. Right. Yeah. He was just a preacher at a tent revival, exactly. So and and I've read several stories of people that, I think D.L. Moody or something got saved in the back of a shoe store or something like that by somebody. And then he went on to Moody Institute and I mean, just a lot of, stuff and I mean, incredible things because of the faithfulness of one person. Don't think that you can't have an impact. Even when we don't feel like we have anything to offer, we still have something to offer.
Y'all remember, y'all ever heard of it?
Yeah.
One of the most famous songs, The White House. The producer said, we're not going to do an album with 9 songs. He said, go somewhere and write a song. He wrote The White House on phone in a bathroom. Look how it touched me. But
Yeah, exactly. So you just never know how God, and that's where it comes down to having the willing heart. You're willing to do whatever God wants you to do and is leading you to do by being led by the Spirit, then you can have a huge impact. And you might not ever see it. You might not. Probably won't. Exactly. Right.
I like a lot of the hymns, like, well, my soul was wrote out of sorrow and that kind of stuff. So.
Exactly. So, I mean, and so, but here, this church is not big. It's small.
There's less people to argue to. That come from me, Scott. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
we're really positive today. Just come out.
I would point out that it only takes 2 people to argue. I'm just making an observation.
I've never had to say one argue.
I've argued with myself before.
Right. Yeah, that's true, because I have argued with God from time to time myself. So,
No.
Yeah, I have. So.
No, I'm just saying that maybe in the bigger churches, the more the people and stuff, everybody's got like more their own
Agenda.
Yeah. Like, I don't know where it's coming from either, but like, maybe it's easier for some people in churches to stay more faithful in a smaller church because
Right.
you're going to have more worldly influences in the bigger. I mean, not necessarily,
Yeah.
but
Right.
Well, you've got a closer knit group.
Yeah.
than a smaller church.
Right. But there can be small churches that
there
just
can be.
do nothing.
There
Well,
can
small
be.
churches can do some pretty. I've not experienced that, but one of my aunts in Fort Worth, Texas, told me that one time they had a business meeting on a Wednesday night, and one lady literally was pulling the hair of another lady
Yeah.
in the front of the sanctuary. They didn't go back there anymore. But,
Really, it's really sad that
But
those
it
kind of
does-
things can happen.
and I'm talking about 80 years ago, but
Yeah.
it does happen. People just lose
Right.
control of themselves totally. And
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
know churches that have police calls on Sunday morning.
Right.
Everybody has a different opinion.
Exactly.
The thing of it is you got to realize, just because your opinion is not the same as someone else, that doesn't mean that they're wrong and you're right, or
You
you're
Right.
bounce them off of each other.
Yeah, you got to be able to get along no matter what.
Right.
Compromise.
Exactly. And that's something that society has forgotten.
oh my gosh.
Because
Everybody's entitled.
and they're
Yeah.
and to be honest with you, I think our leaders are fueling that
Yeah.
because they want us divided. They want us, They don't want us to get together because you can have big impacts
Yeah.
by little effort if you are working together.
Exactly.
But if they can divide us, then they can keep us fighting amongst ourselves. and we're not getting anything accomplished. This describes
That's what I was,
everything that goes on up in our capital.
and that's what I was saying about Philadelphia being a smaller church. You probably got more people working together for the same results. So that's why they're so faithful and can do so much with so little.
But it's all a matter of the heart. Matter of your heart. Your heart's not in it. Okay? Your heart is not in it. Then you're not going to accomplish much. But if your heart is in it, and you can, who knows what God can do for you. And this church is a testament to that. Right? So, he says here in verse 9, indeed, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Indeed, I will make them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Wouldn't that be nice? That's going to be really nice, you know. Nice. And I'm not looking for people to worship at my feet, but for other people to know that God loves me.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes obvious. Clear here. Okay? And he says, because you have kept my commandments, I also will keep. Okay, here we go. I also will keep you from the hour of trial, which will come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth. Anybody know what the hour of trial is?
The tribulation, or is it the trial at the end of all?
Amen.
Yes and yes. Yeah. Okay. Both. Because it's not agreed upon what this is. Okay. A lot of people believe this is evidence of rapture happening before the tribulation starts.
Thinking on that one there.
What now?
I hope that one's right.
Yeah? I do too. I don't think it is, personally, myself.
What was it called?
What?
We were so positive.
Okay,
No wonder we live
What?
together.
But
I got to
I hope I'm wrong.
What did you say? You said you didn't believe the rapture comes before tribulation.
I don't believe the rapture. Personally, I don't believe the rapture comes before the tribulation.
There's 3 different beliefs on that.
Yeah, and after we're done with the letters, we're going to spend a week. We're going to spend a week talking about the rapture and the 4 different beliefs.
Oh, I didn't know.
1 week?
Yep.
Is this some wacko come up here?
Well, it's not the wacko who came up with a date here again
Oh, yeah.
that later on this year it's going to happen. So, okay, but yeah, there's 3, 4 in that. You know, depends on how you look at it.
I've never heard of 4.
You never heard of 4? Well, stay tuned.
You know, different denominations really believe each one. Like there's a certain denomination believes in tribulation.
Yeah.
Certain denominations that really believe post. I don't believe it at all.
Well, I'm a nobody, but I bank in the post tribulation myself.
Where did you have permission to call yourself a nobody?
Well, I mean, I'm not
You don't need to be.
I'm not a
braggadocious.
great scholar or whatever, and I've studied the Bible some, but I haven't like spent tons and tons of
Decades.
decades studying it and everything. But I just
Well, how much do you think some of those people have?
well, there's a lot of preachers and scholars and stuff out there that studied a whole lot more than me. But it's just my opinion, my belief on it. And I know that Baptist doctrine we have believes in the pre-trib rapture, and so y'all don't want me to come back, well, because of my view. Well, I guess okay. So
Hey, it was just said a while ago, everybody's got a view.
yeah, okay. So, but and I will explain when if I'm still here. If you still allow me to come back, when we talk about the rapture, I will explain why I believe. What now?
No, we gotta finish the church.
I'm not going to tell us now because we got to get through the rest of this letter. So, but the other thing of this is, okay, and like Jody said before, the rapture, basically, before the tribulation happens, Linda said the everyday trials that the enemy puts you through, right? Huh? He is a pest. Yes, he is a pest. So, okay, some scholars believe, and this would be the way that I would lean on this, that protecting you from the time of tribulation means you're here for it, but it doesn't impact you as much as it does the non-believers. And it talks in the book of Revelation about how believers are sealed with a mark on their forehead. Very much like the Passover. If you had the mark on your post, the death angel didn't strike you. So what's to stop? Huh?
I'm ready for this.
Okay, good. Good. You got a few weeks to prepare. So, okay. So, but what's to stop God from protecting the believers so that they're not impacted by all these judgments in the same way that the others are, that the non-believers are? It's a view. It is a view that is out here, that could be what the protection is from the everyday trials and from the great, during the tribulation. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
I'll think about it first.
Huh?
I'll think about it.
Okay. Yeah. So, but, and you would not be the first person that I have, if you want to call it a debate, that I have debated about this with, and stuff. And I hope I'm wrong. And this person told me, he says, well, when we get raptured out during the pre-trib and we're flying up there, he said, I'm going to look at you and say, I told you so. Okay, no problem. I'll be good with that. But, but anyways, but he says he's going to protect them. Okay? God can do anything. So if God is going to protect somebody from evil, he can do it. Why do we sell God short?
He's one today.
Yes, even in life today, are we not protected? I mean, when you see a non-believer go through something and a believer, there's a difference.
Yep.
I mean, the death of a loved one, all of it. There's, we handle things better.
Right.
Yeah, well, we're protected from that, right? From that, hopelessness.
Exactly. And God has the reins on the devil right now. He can only do so much. He had to get permission from God to test Job.
He can only
So-
go so far.
He can only go so far. He can only do so much. And yes, he's going to get to run
Well, he
plumb
should-
wild. And he'll probably, probably there'll be a lot of martyrs during that time. But
I think he's running wild now.
he's still controlled. Yeah, it is scary. Exactly. So, okay. He says, because you have kept my command to persevere, I will also, keep you from the hour of trouble. Okay, sorry. He says, behold, I am coming quickly. We heard this in the other letters too, didn't we? Behold, I am coming quickly. But in the other letters, it meant a judgment for those that weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. But here, it says, hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown. He gave runners a crown at the end of a race that won. And so when you run your race, Paul describes our life as a race. We're all to run. If he had run his race, he was getting ready to be poured out. So we all get to go get that crown. Describes the saints throwing their crowns at the feet of Jesus. He's the only one that's worthy. What now?
That was like taking credit.
How would somebody take your crown if they cause you to fall away? If you don't, he says, hold fast and don't let anybody take your crown. So, well, if you turn your back and don't continue to follow Christ, then you might still get to go to heaven, but you might not get as good of a crown. We talked last time about the book of life and how belief is that everybody's name is written in the book of life, and if you don't accept Christ, your name gets blotted out of the book. Some people say that you can lose salvation. I don't know that you can lose salvation, but if you don't surrender your life, then were you ever really saved? There's no change in your life. Were you ever really saved? There's a lot of people walking around, and they're great. They're good. They said a prayer one time, but yet they continue to live the way they were still living. Probably going to hear, depart from me, I never knew you, you workers of iniquity. It says, he who overcomes, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go out. No, he shall go out no more. I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, New Jerusalem, which comes down from heaven, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and I shall. Right. Can't wait till I get some new glasses. But the pillar. Anybody want to be a pillar? We've heard people say he's a pillar in the community. He's a pillar in the church. Speaking metaphorically, of course, not like column holding the ceiling up. But Jesus uses this metaphor because a lot of times this area was prone to earthquakes. They would get a lot of earthquakes. In fact, commentary I read said that people would actually, leave the city when an earthquake hit before the aftershock started hitting. They would actually leave everything and go out to a remote location, and they had housing and stuff set up out there that they could stay for a while, and then they would come back and see what was left. And in most cases, the pillars were left. It wasn't the roof. It wasn't the walls. It was the pillars.
That their purpose is to be sturdy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So he's saying that you can withstand anything that comes against you. Now, does this mean we're going to be a literal pillar in the temple of God in heaven? No. I don't believe so. But we'll be known. Hold firm. Hold strong. We continue to work. There's no retirement in doing what God calls you to do. We can retire from our jobs, but still physically can't do it anymore, or God takes us home. And we can do a lot of things. I mean, as long as you can still talk, make coherent sentences, you can do God's work. You don't gotta be running around doing all this stuff and everything. As long as we can talk and we're willing to serve the Lord in that way. And I know, trust me, I'm a lot younger than most of you here. And I'm tired already. But I know all of you guys are tired too. Get that. But we need to okay. Mr. Handsome's not, but okay.
He's gonna live to be 120.
Yeah, right. Because John's still around too.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Went to the doctor yesterday and everything's great.
Yay.
Blood work perfect.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. I was great.
Good.
100. Remember how many God gifted you?
That's what they told us on one Tuesday, and next Saturday we had a heart attack.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. All right. Getting a little harsh in here. So, but yeah. So, but we're gonna be. Isn't it gonna be great when we're new heaven and a new earth, and we're in that city of Jerusalem, the New Jerusalem?
You're not going to skip over the writing on me, are you?
What?
You're not going to skip over the writing on me, are you?
No.
Okay, I thought you were going to wrap this thing up.
Well, I'm working towards it, but I was gonna mention
I
it.
don't know what that is too.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Man, myself. But now, if God wants to write on me, He got to write.
yeah. Okay. Means that you're a citizen of the New Jerusalem. What a lot of commentators believe, that by getting your God's name wrote on you, again, like I said, going to put a mark on the believers in the tribulation. Don't know what that mark is. It'll be the mark of the beast. Take that, and you excluded yourself from heaven. But all those that believe will have a mark on their forehead. And it's generally believed that only other believers will be able to see it.
We gotta have the mark in it all.
Y'all keep You two keep going back to the rock.
That's what it says. I'll write my name on you. I keep thinking about the rock. We got a new name, and then this is a new name, and now we got to have a mark.
And not just one, now he's writing, the name of my God, the name of my city of my God,
Yeah.
and the New Jerusalem. The New
And my new
And my new
name.
name is the name.
Yeah.
Plus whatever your word on your rock is.
Says it
We got you, what you got?
No, it says mine.
says in this commentary.
Jesus said mine.
Says in this commentary that the name has not been revealed, but those that are victorious and persevere will have the new name inscribed upon them. Believers belonging to God have citizenship in heaven and having a special relationship in Christ with Christ. What that signifies. Glasses ain't screwing up my tongue. I don't know what the problem with that is.
I think that's
But
your
they will be citizens in God's future kingdom. God will give them, everything will be new, pure, and secure. Wouldn't that be good? I'm just afraid that some people with their rock are gonna throw it.
I'm not losing
Try
my rock.
Try
I'm
to
gonna
break a
keep my
window or
rock.
something, huh?
I got my rock.
Okay, good. Good. You got your rock. Good. So. But
What did
yeah,
you say this morning? I'd lose my head if it wasn't.
yeah. So,
And I lose it sometimes anyway.
but basically, he's encouraging this church and the believers to remain faithful, even though sometimes it feels like we don't have a big impact. Sometimes it feels like what we're doing doesn't matter. Okay, it's still we need to stay
Matters to
faithful. It matters to God, exactly. And God can use so much that we don't know His glory.